Move on to do a full reaction to USMNT's lackluster display as they got absolutely positively dominated by the Mexican national team as they lost 2-0 with goals coming from Raul Jimenez in the 22nd minute. Brilliant goal from him on a set piece, a free kick, really good free kick goal. It's a little bit rare to see number 9s take free kicks. It's not the most common things. Free kicks are usually, for there's no really primarily position, but you don't really see number 9s take free kicks. But he was able to get it to go, and then Cesar Huerta in the 49th minute, a player that Mexico fans talk a lot about in recent times. Talking about that, potential next player for them. He got the second goal, came with, slap me if I've said this before, another mistake of the U.S. trying to play out at the back. This time is Tim Ream, who's probably the only player that has any resemblance of quality to play out at the back. He gets caught on the ball, sliding tackle coming in from Raul Jimenez, who, by the way, we know that he was not involved in this summer's Copa America because of Mexico trying to clean house or whatever. He was able to, slide tackle the ball away into Carlos Huerta's pass. Good tight ability and tight space from Huerta to create space in a quick dynamic way. Tucks in the shot, gets it past Turner. 2-0 Mexico. And once that goal came, I thought maybe the route was on because, look, the U.S. was thoroughly out-dominated. I believe the U.S. got their first shots probably in the 68th minute or so, something like that. Mexico, if you look at the statistics, 17 shots for Mexico, 5 for the U.S., 5 shots on target for Mexico, 1 for the U.S., 47% possession for Mexico, 53% for the U.S. The U.S. had possession here and there, but it was possession in nowhere near areas to be threatening. And every time Mexico got on the ball, you were thinking, they could do something with it. Mexico played with a real intent. They looked more technically gifted. They played with more energy. They played with more of a desire. They suffocated the U.S. They made it difficult. The U.S. players, they couldn't handle, the pressure. Maybe it came from the crowd. Also, the Mexican pressure itself, the relentless nature to their press. The U.S. made so many mistakes trying to play out. And once that opening goal came from Mexico, the U.S. players looked shot. They looked like a shell of themselves. And some players really put themselves in a really bad according in this performance. And I do have to say the big one was Brenden Aaronson, who... Look, Brenden Aaronson, I think he has some ability here and there. I think he has a role that he can play, especially off the bench. Someone to come in and take advantage of the energy that Brenden Aaronson can provide and the work rate, especially if you're trying to defend the lead and all that. You need him to defend from the front. He has positives. But something he's not is not a number 10. He does not have the ability to make those line-breaking balls. He's not the most technically gifted in tight spaces. He's not the most cute and clever sort of player. And yeah, and especially in that first half, Aaronson was horrible. There was this one ball that he played. Oh my goodness. It had to be one of the worst balls that a player. I believe he was trying to play it into the path, whether it was Sargent or Tillman, but it was just a horrible ball. And it was a ball that was on, and it was pretty a simple for a player playing in a central position. Really a simple pass to make, and it wasn't even close. Ball was hit not with the right touch. Way too much pace on it. The accuracy of the ball. It just didn't look like a number 10 delivering the ball, and he was pretty awful. I thought Josh Sargent couldn't get involved with him in much. Didn't really get involved in play. Didn't really have service as well. Malik Tillman, didn't really get involved much. I thought midfield wide, Busio, Aiden Morris, and Musa didn't really get a control of the midfield as I expected to. I think defensively, I thought Anthony Robinson played a decent game. Matt Turner didn't really have much to do. Couldn't do really anything on the 2 goals. Tim Ream made that big mistake, which you can't make at this level, especially if he's gonna be the experienced guy. Robinson just not good enough. I don't know why he's involved with the U.S. men's national team. I guess with this, the issues with Richards and Cameron Carter-Vickers and all that, but he's just not good enough. And I thought Joe Scally wasn't horrible, but overall as a whole, the USMNT was not good enough. The performance was not good enough. I don't want to hear anything about the players that was not available, this, that. No, at the end of the day, the players that were on the pitch, they should be able to get the job done, and they were thoroughly outclassed and thoroughly outplayed. And the expectation needs to be there now with Mauricio Pochettino come in. And I'm not here to blame Mauricio Pochettino. He's had 5 to 6 days. This is something that takes time. Javier Aguirre, yes, he's been initially brought in, but Javier Aguirre is someone that's been around the Mexican setup and is a manager that knows how international football works. So to compare the success that he had in this game and try to compare it to Mauricio Pochettino and how they've had similar... No, that's not the case. Number one, Javier Aguirre, he's been around the Mexico team. I believe during the Gold Cup, he had some sort of advisory role above Lozano and all that. And this is a Javier Aguirre that's had multiple stints with the Mexican national team and many stints in international football. Pochettino's not experienced in international football. This is his first real chance to get to be involved with this U.S. team, U.S. setup. Give it some time. Obviously, there's a way that he wants to go about it, trying to play out of the back, have this style that he wants to implement. But obviously, I believe he is a manager that is willing, that he is able to adapt. But he wants to see early, are they good enough? And so far, they have not shown those signs. And I think it's something that Pochettino is going to be it's something that he's going to adapt on. So I'm going to be patient with Mauricio Pochettino because I think he deserves that patience. This is a project at the end of the day. This is a project building into 2026. The bad part about this is the U.S. soccer organization and their complacency not bringing in the manager that was the answer a lot earlier to, have enough time. Now you're a little bit in a panic situation because 2026, you only have 9 international windows after this. That's going to come by like this. So let's just be patient and let's allow Mauricio Pochettino to slowly integrate his style, his philosophy, his tactics into this team. And then, later on, I think the March window will probably be the March window or the June window. Those will be the best times that we can really be critical of Pochettino, if things don't turn around. But let's not go to that dark spot. Let's hope that this is a learning curve for us. Because look, this is a Mexico team that we've had huge success over recent times, and it's underwhelming to get beaten and dismantled the way we were, because honestly we had Mexico in our pockets over the past few years. You're talking World Cup qualifiers, you're talking Nations League, you're talking World Cup qualifiers, Nations League, World Cup qualifiers, Nations League, there's something I'm missing. Gold Cups, the U.S. have had major success over Mexico in recent time. But this game, yes, if it's a time to slip up, it is a friendly, it is in quote-unquote a meaningless game, even though U.S.-Mexico is never a meaningless game. But if there was a time that you slip up, it would be here. It will be, in your second game under new manager, playing away to Mexico, which is never an easy place to play. I believe that's a place that the U.S. has never won. Besides that one friendly that they won 1-0, I think it was Hercules Gomez, winner in the 2013 season or so, something like that. Other than that, not really a fixture that we have much success in. So let's be a little bit calm, and yes, there individuals do deserve some criticism over the performance. There's no arguing that.